Okay, everybody. Welcome back once again. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. We're bringing it to you live from Brooklyn, New York, with my friend Alex Clark, the owner of Fort Hamilton Rye, aptly named after the base here, the old Fort Hamilton base in Bay Ridge, but also after the train station in our neighborhood, Windsor Terrace, the Fort Hamilton station on the F. So Alex was just talking to us about getting his legs in the liquor industry, which can be hard to do, but also building a brand. And he pointed out three really interesting things, which I want to kind of expand on in this section. Alex, you were just talking about online presence. Were you listening to Brent's portion at the beginning?
I missed it. I'll check it later.
That's so crazy because that's all we talked about. Do you know Brent Lagerman? He lived in the neighborhood for a long time. They had Founders Workspace up on Prospect and 10th.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, but our paths have not crossed somehow.
Gotcha. So web design guy, building brands and even like e-commerce for businesses. And he was saying the same thing, like a lot of people were like, oh yeah, no, I need to do this. And like back against the wall, you're in the flypaper. You're like, holy shit, I got to do this now. Got to launch that website. Got to make myself more available. Same with the wine store, Juicebox. We've been talking about building e-commerce site for 12 years. And we did it last month because it was like, we just had to. We just totally had to. Yeah. So and you said the state is going to allow New York State distilleries that actually like have a tasting room and everything. They will be allowed to ship statewide. You won't be able to cross state lines, right? It's still just the distribution, the tangible distribution where you can only distribute within New York State.
State has their own, set of laws. Yeah. Some 3-tier systems like we have. It's all somewhat archaic.
Yeah, sure.
Extremely opaque, especially when you start to cross state lines.
Yeah, which we're close to a couple.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of crazy, right? Like I could send it to, upstate New York and, Syracuse, but I can't send it to Hoboken.
Right.
Which is, odd.
12 miles away.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on those opaque laws. It's because they've been drinking too much bourbon.
Yeah. So, those laws are also probably due for an update. And I think that's something that people have been looking at for a while. But there are businesses built on the fact that these laws are opaque. And wholesalers thrive on that because they can navigate it and they have their warehouses. But it creates all sorts of uncompetitive behavior. But ultimately everyone gets the taxes paid, which is kind of the key for the government, and understandably. And the other argument that is used is that it kind of helps keep liquor out of the hands of minors and helps keep counterfeit liquor out of the supply chain. Mm-hmm. All reasonable points.
Yes.
But these laws were written down, almost 100 years ago now.
Right.
The world has changed. So,
big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So for you as a supplier now, what have you noticed in terms of demand or lack thereof of your, you have to speak from your product, but maybe you've spoken to other people as well?
Yeah, I have. Our mix of retail stores versus restaurants and bars was skewed towards liquor stores in terms of our business. But it's one thing selling a case or two in a liquor store, and it's quite another thing getting onto a cocktail menu in a bar or restaurant, which increases exposure. It's hard to do. It involves relationships and relationship building. But when you do it, that's really how you can build a brand and get people to try it. And then they're like, okay. Then they go to the liquor store and buy a bottle as well. And hopefully, if you've done a reasonable job, they become fans. So obviously that portion of the business has just disappeared. Mm-hmm. And that's tricky. So how do you get people to taste your product? I'm
still selling battery Fs to go. People are still, they're like, oh, I want that one.
Somewhere doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
There's a few of us.
But, and that's okay. That keeps things going. But it's hard to expand like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of moving through inventory, like I have to make decisions on my inventory 3 years in advance, 3-4 years in advance. So there's going to be a lot of people around now that have a lot of inventory just sitting there, don't know what to do with it, which may be good news because maybe there'll be a lot of cheap whiskey on the market later this year. Who knows?
Right.
But the other way that we built our brand, or we're building our brand, was through doing liquor store tastings, in-store tastings, Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, which we very much enjoyed doing, meeting general public, getting to tell our story, and be able to sell a bottle of whiskey at the same time. And that's something that's disappeared as well, which is one of the core elements of our business. So we've, it's tricky. How do you navigate this stuff? The new products that we had lined up to be released through our distributor. Well, the distributors are hurting too, right? They're sitting on inventory that they were pretty sure they were going to sell 6 months ago, that now they can't sell because their buyers in restaurants and bars don't exist anymore. Those bars and restaurants don't exist currently and may not come back either.
Right.
So I guess one of the largest challenges right now is to even understand what the landscape looks like in a year's time, or 6 months time, or 6 weeks time. Yeah.
Well, I've been reading the federal protocols for phase 1 of reopening a restaurant, and essentially like a place like Della, I don't think anybody could sit at the bar. You could not sit at the bar and get like your education from Taylor on Fort Hamilton rye whiskey, like have a sip and like watch him make a cocktail for you. Like that's not going to happen for some time. Even if like we survive, it's going to be like over a year before that could take place again.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's massively crazy. And I know that the margins that you guys work with are minimal, and it's at the best of times, the margins are minimal. So to ask someone to half fill their restaurant and go about it like nothing's changed is impossible.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know how anyone's going to navigate that. Again, for me, what do you turn to? Do you turn to online tastings? Do you turn to online education? We're still intending to open our tasting room and distillery this year. This summer, at this point, it looks like.
Yeah.
We get back to construction next month. We're only a few weeks away from finishing the project. Maybe we can be hosting, we will be hosting whiskey education events. We will be hosting maybe cocktail classes, something perhaps where we don't have to pack a room full of people having a good time drinking cocktails, but can still, talk about our product and show people a good time.
I think virtually is definitely the move, and it's just the way, that's what Brent and I talked about at the beginning of the show, just staying top of mind. And the other thing that you pointed out, which I think is really important, is education. And just in everything right now, because I've got my ear to the rail on so many things. I'm involved in a number of different businesses, so I'm hearing it from all different sides, and people are just like, what the fuck is going on? And they just need that little nugget of information. And I've taken that upon myself, where at times where I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's heavy for me too. It is so important to just deliver that. People want that more than anything. And then like, okay, that guy helped me. I'll spend some money with him at some point. Maybe not right now, but like just to put that out there and help, I think is huge. One last thing before we go, can you educate people where they can find out information about you and Fort Hamilton Rye?
I'm glad you asked, Jeremiah.
Thank you.
FortHamilton.com has all the info that you need.
How do you spell that? Spell it for them.
FortHamilton.com. And nice. at Fort Hamilton Rye, if you're an Instagram kind of person on Facebook.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad we finally got you on the show. Yeah, it took a goddamn pandemic to get you on the show. This guy's a hustler. He was always like, sorry, man, I ain't got time. Nope. Friday, Friday, forget about it. I can't do Fridays. Boy, too busy, man. You're like me. That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm always going to patronize you, and anything I can do to help get your word out. I've always loved what you did. And he's fun too. He's a nice guy. If you get a chance to hang around Alex, you got to stay 6 feet away, but that's close enough. Any closer, you're like, I don't know, man.
Pandemic.
No, right? He's a great dude. So check him out. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Make sure you wash your hands. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. We'll see you next week. Peace out.